Don't let YouTube decide what information you get. That's your choice. YouTube is deleting our videos and cuts you off from a source of honest reporting. Make sure you don't lose access to NTD's news content, and take a quick moment to subscribe to our newsletter so no matter what happens here, you'll keep your access to a trustworthy news source.
Like other cities across the U.S., New York is fighting gang violence. But some are saying some of the NYPD's tactics is not working. NTD's Arian Pazdar has the story.
The NYPD has a list of people they deem potentially dangerous. It's called the Gang Database. Around 20,000 people are on the list, and according to the NYPD, each person on the list has been arrested for an average of 11 times. Now, a group of people, joined by New York City's public advocate, got together here at City Hall because they want the NYPD to get rid of that list. One of the organizers says the fact that on average each person in the database has been arrested 11 times is not a valid indicator.
High arrest equals harassment. Ask NYPD to show you the convictions. Show us the conviction rates.
I asked NYPD about the conviction rates. They sent me a statement about the database, but didn't answer the question. That's one of the problems critics of the database have, that information about it is not accessible.
The NYPD is making claims with no transparency. We can't see the list. You can't get the list right now to know who is in it.
But their main problem with the database is that it doesn't solve the root cause of crime, which they say is poverty. And according to them, many people who get added to the list haven't committed a crime. Mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa says the list should be kept, but updated.
They got too many guys and gals on that who haven't been in a gang in 20 years, so they haven't deleted them. Remove the old-timers who are no longer gangbangers, add all the new jacks who are gangbangers, and have a centralized gang task force unit that's citywide.
In their statement to NTD, the NYPD says that shootings have doubled in the past 2 years, and preventing investigators from accessing information in the database is a disservice to police and the community. Arian Pazdar, NTD News, New York.
What challenges are Generation Z students facing when it comes to free speech on campus? The Bipartisan Policy Center held a webinar to discuss cancel culture on college campuses and its negative effects. NTD's Jason Perry has more on what students have to say.
Michael Hernandez, who studies at the University of Connecticut, explains why cancel culture can be disruptive to intellectual conversations.
I think it's okay to say to someone, hey, Mike, what you said, I really don't agree with you, and I actually disagree with you on a very fundamental level. It looks like we have different values, and I really like to talk to you about it, or I don't want to talk to you about it. That's completely acceptable. Cancel culture is something, it's a different mechanism. Again, it's one of those social forces that really makes you question how things are being run.
Georgetown student Kiara Chittick says people should consider how everyone feels instead of just thinking of a response to what someone is saying.
We don't need to agree with everything that everybody says, but I think that if we understood that everybody has the right to believe what they do and understanding the culture and contextual reasons as to why they believe them, a lot of these cancel culture-esque type movements on campuses, I feel like would be very mitigated.
And Chapman University student Philip Goodrich gives examples of sensitive topics and shows how a cancel-free culture should treat those conversations.
Should our public safety be armed? What about our COVID policies? Do you like, not like, what should be changed? Things like that, where there's a spectrum of beliefs on campus, but often the loudest voice is the only one that is heard, or not all viewpoints are acknowledged. So I think the more that student government can approach campus free expression like that, the better, because you want to be hearing all of your constituents' ideas and viewpoints, not just the loudest or those of your friends or those of yourself.
The Bipartisan Policy Center has a project called Campus Free Expression. It supports the idea that a free and open society depends on the free and open exchange of ideas. The project aims to promote campus policies and programs to support a welcoming environment for intellectual exchange. Jason Perry, NTD News.
A major Chinese state media is calling billionaire investor George Soros a terrorist and the son of Satan. That's after Soros wrote an opinion piece about a $1 billion investment in China. NTD's Tiffany Meyer brings us more on that.
China has officially declared billionaire investor George Soros a global terrorist, labeling him the son of Satan. That comes from a major Chinese Communist Party mouthpiece, the Global Times. The article is titled, "This Global Economic Terrorist is Staring at China." It accuses the Human Rights Watch funded by Soros's Open Society Foundations of intentionally spreading rumors about China. The Global Times commentary also claims that Soros has been funding Hong Kong's Jimmy Lai since 2019. He's the jailed owner of news outlet Apple Daily. Apple Daily closed its business in 2021 due to Beijing's clampdown. It was one of the best-selling pro-democracy newspapers in Hong Kong. The article says Soros conspired with Lai, trying to start an anti-communist movement in Hong Kong, what they call a color revolution. Hong Kong police arrested 5 Apple Daily executives in June, saying more than 30 articles from their media violated the national security law. The articles called for foreign sanctions against Beijing. Over $2 million in the newspaper's assets were frozen. Soros recently wrote a commentary in the Wall Street Journal speaking about BlackRock, a New York-based investment management corporation. He said its $1 billion investment in China was a tragic mistake.
Are medical workers in North Carolina trying to scare people by inflating their COVID-19 data? A leaked video's got people asking this question and a hospital sticking up for its staff. NTD's Miguel Moreno has the details.
Maybe we need to be completely a little bit more scary for the public.
Probably not what you'd expect to hear from a doctor. That's Dr. Mary Catherine Rudick, a physician working for Novant Health in North Carolina. The National File, a media outlet, published this leaked clip of Rudick and other staff members.
I think we have to be more blunt. We have to be more forceful. We have to say something coming out. You know, you don't get vaccinated, you know you're going to die. I mean, let's just be really blunt to these people.
At one point, the doctor asks if they can add recovered COVID patients to their hospitalized COVID total. The National File describes this as an attempt to inflate their numbers. But in a statement, the hospital told WECT 6 News, the data we have been sharing does not include patients who remain hospitalized for COVID-19 complications, even though they are no longer COVID-19 positive. So it does not provide a complete picture of the total impact of COVID-19 on our patients and on our hospitals. The hospital didn't say anything about Rudick's comments about scaring the public or telling them they'll die if they don't get vaccinated. Miguel Moreno, NTD News.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to catch all of our programs on TV. NTD Evening News is on every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Find your local NTD channel at ntd.com/TV.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.